Freedom is not found in distant places. True freedom begins within us. This quote from Epictetus sets the stage for our journey into the world of self-sufficiency. In an era where external influences and constant connectivity dictate our lives, the art of being self-reliant seems almost forgotten. Yet, it is precisely in the quiet of our inner selves where we discover a key to happiness. Self-sufficiency, or autarky as the Stoics call it, is not just an ideal, but a practical way of living. It teaches us to recognize, appreciate, and utilize our inner resources. It's not about isolating ourselves from the world, but about cultivating inner independence, allowing us to face life's uncertainties with greater calm. This introduction opens the door to a journey where you will learn how the principles of the Stoics can help you live a more content and self-determined life. A life where you are enough for yourself is a life of abundance, free from the constant demands for more that shape our society. Join me on this path to true contentment and inner freedom. Welcome to Stoic Times, your channel for more peace, self-control, and happiness. Subscribe now for even more life-enriching content. And check out the Virtue collection in our shop below, which reminds you of daily Stoic practice. Before we dive in, I'd love to know how interested you are in a video on the Stoic morning routine. If enough people comment morning routine, I'll cover the topic in the video after next. The Stoics were known for their regular morning practices, so let's get 100 comments and reveal the secrets of the Stoic morning routine. Lesson 1. The basics of self-sufficiency. In the stillness of a room where light breaks through the simplicity of a stone refuge, our journey toward self-sufficiency begins. Here, at the heart of Stoic philosophy, we discover a power deeply rooted in us, the ability to be in harmony with ourselves and to create a fulfilled life from within. Self-sufficiency, a concept as old as the Stoics themselves, teaches us that true happiness does not depend on external circumstances, but on our inner attitude. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." These words resonate through the ages, reminding us that satisfaction is not achieved by accumulating material goods, but by appreciating what we already have. The foundation of self-sufficiency lies in the understanding that our needs are limited, while our ability to create desires is infinite. By learning to tame our desires and understand our needs, we open the door to a new kind of freedom, a freedom that depends not on the whims of the external world, but on the strength of our character. This freedom begins with the acceptance of what is. Acceptance does not mean resignation, but a wise acknowledgement that some things are beyond our control. What we can control, however, are our reactions, our attitudes, and the choices we make. Here lies the true power of self-sufficiency, in deciding how we respond to life's uncertainties. Self-sufficiency also teaches us to value simplicity. In a world that constantly pushes us to want, have, and be more, simplicity offers an anchor. It helps us cut through the noise and find what truly matters. This leads to a deeper understanding of contentment, not as a goal to be achieved, but as a path we walk. But how do we reach this contentment? The key lies in practice and mental discipline. Stoic practices such as meditating on our desires, reflecting on our daily experiences, and consciously practicing gratitude are tools that help us recognize and cultivate our inner wealth. In this lesson, we explored the basics of self-sufficiency, a concept that leads not only to personal freedom, but also to a deeper sense of happiness and fulfillment. The journey to self-sufficiency is an invitation to look deeper within ourselves and discover the unshakable power that lies in simplicity and in harmony with our true needs. Lesson 2. The role of desires and needs. At the crossroads of our lives, we often face a choice between what is essential and what society portrays as desirable. This decision symbolizes not only the conflict between true needs and artificially created desires, but also the core of the Stoic understanding of self-sufficiency. In a world of abundance, we are bombarded daily with messages that make us believe that happiness comes from acquiring certain goods or achieving a specific status. The Stoics, however, teach us that these external factors are fleeting and offer no lasting satisfaction. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, warned, "Very little is needed to make a happy life." The first step to differentiating between true needs and artificial desires is the recognition that many of our longings are shaped by external influences. This requires deep self-reflection and the ability to distance ourselves from constant distractions and noise. By asking ourselves what is truly necessary for our well-being, we begin to identify our real needs. True needs are those that contribute to our basic welfare and a meaningful life, such as health, meaningful relationships, and personal growth. Artificially created desires, on the other hand, often arise from comparing ourselves to others, advertising, and the constant pursuit of more without ever finding true satisfaction. A crucial step in mastering self-sufficiency is practicing gratitude. When we learn to appreciate what we already have, instead of always striving for what's missing, we can shift our perspective and find a deeper sense of contentment. Gratitude reminds us that what we take for granted often aligns with our true needs. Choosing simplicity over excess is not just a matter of self-sufficiency, but also a matter of freedom. By freeing ourselves from the chains of artificial desires, we regain the freedom to live according to our own values and beliefs. This freedom allows us to live more authentically and focus on what truly matters. In this lesson, we've learned how differentiating between true needs and artificially created desires leads to a life of self-sufficiency. By concentrating on what is essential and learning to be content with less, we open ourselves to a richer, more fulfilling life, one driven by inner satisfaction rather than external circumstances. Lesson 3. Self-awareness and autarky. Self-awareness and autarky, two pillars of Stoic philosophy that teach us how, by knowing our true selves, we can lead a life of independence and contentment. In the Stoic tradition, the journey of understanding oneself is not just an exercise in self-reflection, but a path to liberation. The journey to self-awareness begins with an honest and fearless confrontation with our strengths and weaknesses. The Stoics teach that true strength lies not in hiding our weaknesses, but in acknowledging and accepting them. This acceptance is the first step toward autarky, toward self-sufficiency. Only when we understand our true needs can we stop striving for what we don't actually require. Self-awareness also means knowing and living by our own values. It's about freeing ourselves from external influences and the opinions of others, and instead living a life that aligns with our deepest convictions. This pursuit of authenticity is a key aspect of Stoic autarky. It takes courage to swim against the current and stand by your values, even when they are unpopular. But how do we reach this state of self-sufficiency? One key lies in the practice of meditation and self-reflection. Through daily exercises of contemplation, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This ability to observe ourselves helps us make more conscious decisions and guide our lives in a direction that aligns with our true values. Another essential aspect of Stoic autarky is the ability to adapt to circumstances and make the best of every situation. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable and that we do not always have control over external events. What we can control, however, is our response to these events. By learning to be flexible and viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, we develop a form of inner strength that supports us in any situation. The teachings of the Stoics on self-sufficiency are as relevant today as they were in ancient times. In a world that constantly pushes us to desire and consume more, Stoic philosophy offers an alternative, a life of simplicity, contentment, and independence. By practicing self-awareness and autarky, we can live a life that is not dictated by external circumstances, but by our own understanding of happiness and fulfillment. Lesson 4. The art of saying no. In a world that constantly demands our attention, the ability to say no is a powerful form of self-assertion. It represents not only our ability to set boundaries, but also our courage to stand up for our values and inner peace. Stoic philosophy offers us a guide to mastering this art, helping us to lead a life of self-sufficiency and inner tranquility. The Stoics teach us that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our view of those events. By learning to say no to external demands and distractions, we protect not only our time and energy, but also our mental well-being. It is a sign of strength and self-respect to recognize when something doesn't contribute to our well-being and to have the determination to distance ourselves from it. However, saying no is more than a defensive reaction. It is a conscious decision about how we want to shape our lives. Every time we say no to something non-essential, we are implicitly saying yes to what truly matters to us. This choice allows us to focus our resources on what brings us closer to our goals and fosters our inner calm. But how do we set boundaries without isolating ourselves from the world? The key lies in the clarity of our values and goals. By knowing what is important to us, we can make decisions that reflect these priorities. This requires continuous self-reflection and the willingness to release expectations and pressures that don't align with our values. The practice of saying no begins with small steps. It can mean declining an invitation when we feel the need for rest or delegating a task that doesn't align with our core competencies. Each no strengthens our self-awareness and our ability to recognize and defend our boundaries. A vital aspect of this is how we communicate our boundaries. The Stoics remind us that it is possible to be firm and compassionate at the same time. By clearly and respectfully communicating our boundaries, we show not only self-respect, but also respect for others. The art of saying no is a crucial part of Stoic practice and a key to maintaining our autarky and inner peace. It encourages us to lead an authentic life, one that is governed by our own values and not by the expectations of others. By learning to set and defend our boundaries, we find the path to true freedom and self-sufficiency. Lesson 5. Contentment in the here and now. In today's world, we often lose sight of the present moment. The Stoic philosophy reminds us that true contentment lies in the here and now, not in constant worry about the future or regret over the past. The practice of mindfulness, a central element of the Stoic way of life, teaches us to experience and appreciate every moment fully. This means becoming aware of the beauty and value of the present, whether it's a simple walk in the garden, the feeling of the sun on our skin, or a deep conversation with a friend. The Stoics believe that every moment we experience is an opportunity to practice gratitude and to recognize life's splendor. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about living in the present moment and accepting life's fleeting nature. He emphasized that the future is uncertain and the past cannot be changed. All we have is the present moment. To find contentment in the here and now, the Stoics suggest regularly pausing and consciously observing the life around us. This can be achieved through simple mindfulness exercises, such as deep breathing, observing nature, or fully immersing ourselves in a task without distraction. These practices help us break through the noise of daily life and connect more deeply with life itself. Another aspect of living in the present moment is the acceptance of what is. This means accepting reality without trying to control or change it. The Stoics teach that suffering often arises from the desire for things to be different than they are. By learning to accept the present, we can find peace in acceptance. Living in the here and now also requires the courage to let go, whether it's letting go of past mistakes, future fears, or unrealistic expectations of ourselves and others. Letting go frees us from the burdens of the past and the anxieties of the future, allowing us to embrace the present fully. The practice of living in the present moment is a pathway to inner peace and contentment. By learning to appreciate every moment and recognize the beauty in life's small details, we can find a deeper sense of fulfillment. Stoic teachings encourage us to view the present as the most precious gift we have, a constant reminder to welcome life with open arms and appreciate each moment as a step on the path to wisdom and contentment. Lesson 6. Dealing with failures and setbacks. In Stoic philosophy, failures and setbacks are not seen as obstacles, but as inevitable parts of life that offer valuable lessons and opportunities for growth. This perspective teaches us to face adversity without being overwhelmed by it and to use it as a chance to strengthen our resilience and character. The Stoic attitude toward failure is based on the idea that while we may not always control the events in our lives, we do have control over our reactions to them. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we encounter setbacks, the power lies in our interpretation of these events and in our ability to learn from them and move forward. A crucial step in dealing with failure is acceptance. This doesn't mean becoming passive or complacent, but recognizing reality without resistance. Through acceptance, we gain emotional distance and can evaluate the situation more clearly. This allows us to draw constructive conclusions and take forward-thinking steps instead of getting trapped in self-pity or frustration. Another key Stoic principle is reframing setbacks as opportunities. Every challenge, mistake, or failure can be a teacher, offering valuable insights into our strengths, weaknesses, and areas for growth. This perspective encourages us to be proactive and use every experience as a means of self-improvement. The practice of premeditatio malorum, a Stoic technique of anticipating difficulties before they arise, prepares us to handle setbacks more effectively. By considering potential challenges and their possible impacts on our lives, we build emotional resilience and develop better strategies for coping. Finally, the Stoics emphasize the importance of community and the support of like-minded individuals. Sharing experiences and offering mutual encouragement can be a powerful source of strength. Through sharing our stories of overcoming adversity and growth, we help others face their own struggles and foster a deeper sense of connection and solidarity. By integrating these Stoic principles into our lives, we can develop a mindset of resilience that enables us to view failures and setbacks not as endpoints, but as springboards. This perspective allows us to maintain a sense of calm, purpose, and contentment despite life's uncertainties. Lesson 7. Community and you. In Stoic philosophy, the community is not a peripheral aspect of life, but a central element of human existence. The Stoics believe that our ability to live in harmony with others and contribute to the well-being of the community is an essential part of virtue and the good life. This lesson explores the importance of community and social interaction in Stoicism and how it enriches our quest for self-sufficiency and inner peace. The Stoics see humans as inherently social beings, naturally destined to live and work within communities. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, stressed the importance of mutual support and compassion within the community. He reminded himself and others that we are all parts of a larger whole, and that the well-being of the individual is inseparable from the well-being of all. Engaging with our community offers us countless opportunities to put Stoic principles into practice. For example, through our interactions with others, we can practice patience, understanding, and tolerance, virtues that are central to Stoic ethics. Social interactions also allow us to test and refine our ideas of indifference, accepting what we cannot control, and acting according to nature, fulfilling our roles in society. Another aspect of the importance of community in Stoicism is the idea of philanthropia, love for humanity. The Stoics teach that by showing goodwill and contributing positively to society, we cultivate our own virtue. This is reflected in our commitment to social justice, helping those in need, and striving for harmonious coexistence. However, practicing Stoicism within the community also requires that we set clear boundaries between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. While we should strive to bring about positive change in our communities, we must also recognize and accept the limits of our influence, understanding that we cannot control the actions or attitudes of others. Lastly, the Stoics remind us that true self-sufficiency does not mean isolation. It means having the ability to find inner peace regardless of external circumstances, while maintaining loving and constructive relationships with those around us. Achieving this balance is a lifelong practice, encouraging us to look both inward and outward in order to lead a virtuous and fulfilling life. Being involved in our community, sharing wisdom, and supporting others are not only expressions of our humanity, but also essential steps on our path to virtue and self-sufficiency. By cultivating the art of living in harmony with others, we enrich our own lives and contribute to the well-being of the broader society. Final thoughts. In our pursuit of self-sufficiency, we have embarked on a transformative journey that has led us from external dependencies and the noise of everyday life to a place of inner peace and autarky. Through the wisdom of Stoicism, we have learned to find strength within ourselves, tame our desires, set boundaries, and find contentment in the present moment. Each chapter has introduced us to the principles of self-sufficiency and shown us how to apply them in our daily lives. From the importance of being self-reliant to managing setbacks and understanding the role of community in our lives, these lessons have provided a foundation upon which we can build a fulfilled life. As we continue on this path, let us remember that the journey to self-sufficiency is an ongoing one. It's a path that requires constant reflection, practice, and dedication. But with each step we take, we discover more about ourselves, our strengths, and how to maintain inner peace in an often chaotic world. I invite you to not only view what you've learned as knowledge, but to use it as a tool for your daily life. Stoic philosophy is more than just a teaching. It's a way of living that empowers us to act with dignity, courage, and wisdom. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May the path of the Stoics lead you to deeper understanding, inner strength, and true contentment. Until the next video at Stoic Times,